Press start to begin. Well, it has. The queue line is in operation. If you stay tuned later in this program, we'll have one on opening night, actually. Here in front of the Detroit Historical Museum, this is a continuation of the first Sunday in May here. And there's going to be a fashion show here at the museum. But here, Woodward Avenue, you got to be strong up the middle. And look at the deal here, the grate. Okay, the Fashion Massacre is what they call this. Okay, here we go. There's the website. And this is in the basement. We'll just listen in for a bit. The Detroit City seal on the flag. Tiger Stadium, they kept the old sign. And there's another icon, the Little Caesar. But interesting venue, certainly, to have a fashion show. The museum portion, I don't think was open. I just wanted to take a spin around. Here's a fabulous car here, very noteworthy. The Detroit Factor, how about it? And the Cadillac assembly line back in the day from the Clark Avenue assembly, or on Clark Street there. The body drop, they called that. And I think this is a venue, if you're a Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County resident, the museum, I believe, is free. That was part of our arts tax, along with the DIA. Woodward Avenue, Main Street, Detroit. And the queue line is up and running. How about it? And it's an all-American road. Woodward is... Now, we need to extend the Dream Cruise into Detroit. It ends at Ferndale down there. It needs to go all the way down to Jefferson. Okay, back to the lower level in the streets of old Detroit. Detroit, yeah. Very prosperous city and very optimistic. I think the optimism is back, which is great. We'll work on getting the prosperity thing going. Well, here's part of the show here now. Alrighty. Well, this was a Sunday night, so I got to get up and work Monday morning. So, anyways, the spokes that emanate from downtown Detroit. There's Michigan Avenue. Jefferson was below. Next one, Grand River. And we can have different streetcars running along each of these lines like we have on Woodward now. But here, Gratiot, it'll be just like back in the day. And Jefferson again for the east side. Willie Horton did his handprints along with Al Kaline. They call this the Legends Plaza. Showtime. Hey, and then a nice mural here by the Carhartt Detroit store. Born in Detroit. Well, I have that same claim to fame. Yes, born in Detroit back in 1960, so it's been a few years now. I'm not one of those spring chickens anymore. Gads. Time flies. But, okay. That's going to be the end of the tape. Blue screen. All right, I got to switch tapes here. This will be a 3-part show. The next part here is the Packard plant, and they had Detroit Design Festival. They have a monthly event. Okay, press play, and away we go. Okay, it was challenging finding a parking spot, but there I did in my white Focus, Oxford white. But here, checking out this event, this is the north end of the Packard plant, and they have a function at the junction here, the Detroit Design Festival kind of thing. This is Drinks by Design, so even better, combining alcohol with design. You can't go wrong. That's where the best ideas come from. I say that in jest. Certainly, I'm just kidding. But here, they have a different event every month. So when you come to one of these events, make sure you get on the email list, and they'll send you the info saying when the next one is and where it's at. It's always at a cool place, and we're going to check out the whole Packard facility. My evil twin and myself. Yes, indeed, we will. This is the north part of the Packard plant. Geez, it butts right up to I-94 here. and the exit would be Mount Elliott Avenue and East Grand Boulevard. We used to make Packard automobiles here. It stopped somewhere in the 50s. I'm not sure exactly which year, but the Packard was quite the luxury automobile. God, there's always an eye in the sky. Somebody's watching. Oh, God, they're all over the place now. But yeah, this is the ruins, and a gentleman from, I think it's Peru, bought the place few years back. Okay, look at this fancy sports car here, Ford Power. This is the Raptor. This is a fancy Focus. I got more of the base model. Now, this is the offices of display groups, so I guess if you wanted to put on a presentation, you have a corporate event, a big windig, and you want to decorate the place up, make the place have a certain theme or a certain look, certain feel, you would rent, display equipment here, including furniture and all number of things. Here's some history. Yeah. They had some old photo. Hey, Jimmy! This is the drinks part. And she was very busy. But several vendors had displays set up, the lighting, the ambience. It was kind of hip, dare I say. This particular month's event was well attended. There were a ton of people. They're all well dressed and they're creative types. This is cool. I have fun at all their events. So, and just to check out the neighborhood now to see what's happening. There's a lot of greenery and so forth. Here, a pickup game at Hyde and Helen. But some of the homes are well kept, but then there's a lot of empty green spaces and some buildings that, had fire damage, probably need to be torn down. But I look at the land as quite the opportunity. If you wanted to buy a couple lots together, you could put your house and do, have that nice backyard and a little space, little room. Yeah, you have to kind of see through all this. And they're supposed to fix this Packard plant. They announced plans just recently that work is to begin and in certain phases. But, It's like they say the fabulous ruins of Detroit. This certainly is one of them, an old abandoned automobile factory where Mother Nature is taking over. And now a gentleman is going to try to resurrect it. But yeah, here the Packard Motel. I would imagine back in the day it had a pretty good business. Now maybe struggles. I love these water towers. To me, they look like bottle rockets. So there's quite the prominent one here. And this is a sprawling factory. It basically runs north to south in a long, narrow stretch, but it's a block or so wide. But I'm not sure the total square footage. Yeah, it's privately owned now, so they want to discourage people from doing that urban exploring. So they have security in a number of places, but still an open door policy. They haven't gotten around to that yet, but given time. This the front entrance, and then they have a sign here, and we'll have a website too, so take note. Look at the hood ornaments they had back in the day. Okay. Well, that looks like an email address there for somebody. Oh. Can't go anywhere nowadays. Here to 10 p.m. I'm looking at the hours. This is daily. And through the years, certainly, great graffiti artists have adorned the walls here of the Packard plant. Here, the billboard, facing I-94 is kind of artistic, but here made it to the train tracks. And this is not part of the Packard thing. This is a different building here, but certainly, look at the detail. It's nice. I would imagine that rail line was quite active back in the day. All right. Well, for a time, the USA Food Center, and they were the meat people. The meet and greet. Well, I was going to go down the backside here along the rail line to show you the backside, but one of the security officers said, oh no, can't do that, no can do. So I had to turn around, but here are the concrete supports. Even though it's abandoned and Mother Nature's taking over, there's still like beauty in these shapes. And anyway, so I'm going to loop around in a different kind of way. I'm heading south. Now, I don't know if the building structurally is good enough, or at some point they might just have to say we're going to tear this down and level it. A lot of concrete and so forth. Here, I think this was a school area, if I'm not mistaken, and not that long ago, but there's a lot of fires in and around through this neighborhood. Some that might be considered suspicious, but and there are a lot of fires at the Packard plant also. So I'm not sure if part of the buildings have to be torn down or some of it can be salvaged. Here an acronym for that, Great Lakes Tube. But here are those funnels. There was a great picture years ago where some artist or somebody went and actually put TVs up on a number of those pedestals and then took a picture. I don't know if it was Facebook or whatnot, how it went. But now on the Weather Channel they have flipping through and trying to catch the local weather. Sometimes you go to the Weather Channel and they have their own special shows. But they had one about how Mother Nature takes over, and they actually did it a good portion of that show was here at the Packard plant and showing how the water damage, gets inside and how it starts and the whole process. So we're certainly, that process has started and it's well underway. Now, how much can be stopped, who knows? It almost looks like it could have been in a war at one time, the ruins of bombing, like in Europe or something. But no, this is Mother Nature. Here, this is a cinder block wall. It looks like it just toppled over. Just kind of had a little lean and choo. That was that. Yeah, my evil twin was... I had no choice in the matter here. A cemetery on the other side of the tracks here. But here's the portion that gets a lot of press. And you can see those funnels and just where the flooring is just sagging and breaking apart, but just being held together by threads, the rebar there. Yeah, at any time it could go. You can kind of see the little tilt and the angle, and certainly compromised. Yeah, I like to say art is everywhere, so here it is. It just shows you things go in cycles, We have ancient ruins all over the world where things crumble and get leveled, and then later on, we try to rebuild things, and a lot of times when they rebuild something, they find old ruins. But this will be well documented. We'll know that this was the Packard plant at one time. But yeah, I would have to think this is just going to be torn down. But I think he has high hopes, and I think he's from Peru. I should have done the Google search and gotten the name and so forth. But imagine that, though, a foreigner seeing something in Detroit and trying to make a go of it. Here's some well done, like alien kind of thing, Martian type stuff. Here's one. Colorful birds that chirp. Okay, now I made it to the south end. Beauvais. It's a French street name there. Okay, I'm going to wrap around here this cemetery and then head back north. Here, good brick on this place. Mount Elliott, prominent street, certainly, in the east side. Here, a distributor. And they have Quickcrete. I like these older signs. So they got lumber, vinyl siding, and the like. They have nice awnings. So this is the Trinity Cemetery. Here are nice row of houses. And you can get here via bus. And here are the hours. So they're closed at this time. They got this locked down. But look at the work there in the iron door, the gate. Here, a chimney. We'll take a closer look. And here, tequila elevated to an art. So, it's true what I say. Art is everywhere. Well, this place, building experienced a fire. And the only portion that wasn't like wood and siding and so forth burned to the ground, but the chimney still remains. So yeah, it was pretty much leveled, and here Mother Nature again taking over. You can go either way. There, the sewer plant, the waste incinerator. Now that is a deterrent, certainly for the east side of Detroit as a whole almost. They got to figure something out to get that incinerator closed down because nobody wants to live and breathe all that stuff. time to get beyond that. You don't have that in a major metropolis city or a major metropolis. Detroit, although, has fallen to 23rd. It used to be as high as, I thought it was 4, but the news said they made it to 5, as high as the 5th largest city back in the 50s. Now we're down to 23rd. But if we want to repopulate the city, certainly issues like a waste incinerator have to be dealt with. Yeah, they're all over the place. They're almost like ants. Urban cowboys. So they left their mark. Here's some interesting industrial shapes. There's a big funnel and then tubes attached. It's like, I love those larger than life kind of things. It'd be neat to know the process of what was happening there and how they were mixing things and so forth. Here the Claremont bus, and it kind of curves here over I-94. So kind of to get around, I had to go across I-94 and then come back the other way. The event was till like 8 p.m. or whatever, so they're closing up now. I was hoping I'd loop around and make it back to see a little more, but it's a big plant. I had a lot of walking to do there, so. But the exploring, is what I live for. Rolex, they always have the date of the 28th. That's the deep sea version. Here they got a thingy. Black Lives Matter. They certainly do. Diversity is our strength. I don't know. You hear expressions like that all the time, but yet there's people that, I don't know, are living in the past. But anyways, well, this is a house that's solid. It was like a duplex here and abandoned, but certainly not all that long ago. They had Comcast. Now, sometimes, when nobody's living there, the house can get trashed pretty quickly. But what you do is you level the place, clean out the area, and then you got a place where a nice development or something new could take place. Here's the duplex side. Oh, wait, where was I? I was checking out the back now. But, I'm upstairs now, so this was the other duplex. That's the way they do it. The house across the street is totaled, pretty much. And then, the attic. And so here, wood frame house, and the chimney is brick. Hear us roar. Well, the Tigers, they've run into a little rough patch here. We'll see if they can bounce back a little bit. But, this is right off of I-94, and there's green spaces all over the place. That should spell opportunity to a lot of people. Detroit's on the rebound. There's still some things that wouldn't be considered eye candy. They'd be considered eyesores, but that can be changed. Here, the vendors and so forth were packing up their things. But a great event they have, and like I say, it's one a month. I think they take a few months off at a certain stretch, but they have the big design festival. Let me get the dates on that. DET.com. I'm in an urban environment right now, but Detroit Hamtramck. This is the new Cadillac assembly. The Detroit Design Festival is September 26th through the 30th. And they say design is everywhere. And I couldn't agree more. And so the website is DetroitDesignFestival.com. But yeah, Detroit is, it's coming back, and design is part of it. We have good, here's on the Tulip Festival.
And just like every year for the last 37, Jan Karsten wants everyone to know.
What attributes do you need to be the town crier?
Well, the first one, obviously you gotta have a big mouth.
33,000. So adding 500,000 of your closest friends and family to the community makes it a little busy.
And Hollanders, like festival director Gwen Aurda, spend months preparing their
Oh, yeah, that was nice. On the national news, they were promoting Holland, Michigan and their Tulip Festival. Here, an awesome view of downtown from the top of the I-75 bridge. And there it is, the Q line in action. I went with my good friend Jim, and this was opening day, opening night of the Q line. I love the door hinges on this historic church here. And this is, again, in an urban environment, and parking's allowed, so I'm good. We decided we'd catch the Q line in mid-phase or mid-stretch. It's like a 3.1 mile stretch. Oh, this was a church that had experienced a fire, and now it's leveled, and so that's opportunity for someone right on Woodward Avenue to do something. Certainly along the whole stretch of the Q line route, business investment and so forth is going to take place. It's definitely one of those things where transit brings that. It brings a kind of a density and so forth, and people want to be located close to this. This station, they said, was closed because of the construction. This is the one closest to the new hockey/basketball arena. They're advertising the Grand Prix, which will be like the first weekend in June. And there across the way is another Q line. I like the color scheme they have here. The ones that they were testing, they were in white and red. Now they got multicolors, and then they got quotes up here on the top. I'll be able to nab a few of them. It was kind of going slow at here we go. Working together is success. From Henry Ford. Yeah, imagine that. Well, this is mass transportation. If Ford wants to be a mobility company, they need to consider all forms of transit, getting people from point A to point B, and not just necessarily cars, but to interact with other forms of transportation, maybe even make bicycles and have nice racks that they can put on their car, but then also, get people to places where they can hop on a streetcar line or so forth, and then have Ford even manufacture streetcars. I think these streetcars are out of Pennsylvania somewhere. And certainly streetcars should make a comeback. Here's some new housing and so forth with nice balconies. And Jim and I, we were hoping, look how crowded this one is. We're in the process of trying to find a station where we can hop on one, and it's crowded again too. But this is our train.
The dates overnight.
No audio or video. Oh, without headphones. Okay. All right, yeah, standing room only.
Oh, we're going backwards. Am I going no backwards? No, that's the front. This is the backwards. He go to the front or the back? He go to the front.
This is the midtown.
Sometimes he go to the front.
I live here in midtown. No. I'm living 5 years now.
My office down there.
So that was
He did it to us.
enjoy.
You too. Have a great night.
Where are you guys going?
That's a good question. We got to go all the way back there. He interrupted our dinner. We had dinner at the London Chop House. We were supposed to have dessert across the street, and somehow I'm on.
Last year I had the Prince party there. So this year I still was out. They're doing something. Stop. I don't know. Maybe not. So I don't know. Maybe something going on.
That's good. They're Googling.
Yes.
Ooh, knowledge is power. Ain't that the truth? Okay, we're heading north to the new center area, and then we'll have to get off. Here, we're lined up to a hybrid electric bus. Here's that mural again. So we're crossing I-94. A few more stops.
Away from downtown, Mount Clemens, and then this one.
Or you could say.
All right, time to deboard, but this gives you an idea of what the car looks like. So standing on this platform, but some seating when you go up a couple of steps. And they have offered free rides through the month of June. I think it'll be only July 1st that they'll start charging. So right here, just north of East and West Grand Boulevard, in the new center proper, you have to deboard, and the car goes back to the charging station and charges for a little bit. So I have to figure out how those lines, I didn't realize, I thought it could cycle right back, but they say there's at least a 10-minute charge that it has to get. And I thought they had power along the whole route, but apparently there might be some areas where they don't charge. All right, well, this high voltage, this is their charging station here, and there's the golden top of the Fisher building. And so that's where it's powering up there. It's attached to the grid. Here, Big Sean with a quote you can take to heart. All right, so the north end is right here at Custer, and they put this patch of concrete back in 2016. But yeah, that's the yard here. They make a right-hand turn and head into the yard for maintenance, service, or just storage and the like. And it's powered by DTE Energy. And then they probably had a press conference earlier in the day when it first opened. It looks like they have the nice furniture out. Maybe they got it from that Packard place that we saw earlier. But yeah, hopefully the line can continue up Woodward all the way up to Ferndale and beyond. The idea is to get people excited a little bit about the prospects of this streetcar. And we have to be strong up the middle. Hey, this guy, Roger Penske's done a whale of a job being a big Detroit promoter, supporter, financier, what have you. He's done a lot to help the city. And one of his signature events is coming up with that Detroit Grand Prix. And look what we're doing with Belle Isle. Here, I didn't realize the decorative water covers there. How neat. Okay, well, there's there's room for improvement over here. I'm not crazy about the iron grating on the storefronts here, but this stretch of Woodward certainly should bounce back and have a revival of sorts. Especially, this was a nice little tight shopping area back in the day, but maybe it can be trendy again. And North End is kind of the neighborhood delineated. And that's usually to the east side, I think. To the west side, we'd say it's the new center. Seems like east side, west side is delineated certainly by Woodward Avenue. Except it becomes John R. when it comes near the top as far as the Postal Service is concerned. Here, Shinola time, and I'm pretty much in sync with Shinola time. All right, Center for Design and Education, it's happening now, right now. They have a big exhibit. So there were a lot of students and their parents and the like. The place was quite crowded. Well, Jim and I decided we'd take a breather, so we'd step into the Northern Lights Lounge. They have a ski patrol thing, but they have a fire outside here. All right, here's the place for easy parking. They have quite a few different rates there. The Amtrak line, so that will be nice. People can deboard from Amtrak and take the Q line downtown. I love this building here. That's going to be a bar or restaurant. That's going to be, and at one time it was, but it needs to be again, I think. Or it can be something else, whatever floats your boat. But the idea is hopefully people get inspired and business entrepreneurs see the value in some of these places, or it can come up with a vision, come up with a focus. That's what I did. Here, Detroit is the starting line of the world's imagination. How about it? Yeah, well, we can do a lot there because we have a lot of opportunities. The opportunity to rebuild is certainly here because there's a lot of empty spaces. So things can get filled in. And if you have a brain that can kind of imagine things, there's a quote too, like if you can imagine it, it can be done, kind of a thing. And I'm probably not getting it right because, you could imagine a lot of stuff that would be whacked out. But there's some expression like that. Trust me. Look at the animal figurines up top, whether those are bears or lions. There's a lot of automotive history in this neck of the woods here. Now, Z's Villa, historic house, bar, and grill. And I only recently discovered this place a few years back. And their thing, certainly they cater to the food thing and also, have a cold one with your food. So Jim and I, we're looking over the menu to pay homage to the past. I went with I'd have to see it again. I thought it was the Cadillac Burger. All right, the Z. They even have a table in the shape of a Z. A nice lighting, but they have a little turret out here, which is kind of neat. Well, we saw it from the outside, but this is from the inside looking out. And neat little place. So it's kind of small but they have their overflow area up here on the second floor. So plenty of more room for dining if the first level is crowded. And then they have the back 40, which is really cool. So if you're into volleyball, this probably, I could see where they have competitions and the like going on. You probably have to reserve your time here because this is well done. Look at the chair, Michigan-inspired judge's chair or referee's chair. I don't know what the term for the guy would be, sitting in the high chair. There's Jim. Yeah, but this is like regulation size in the sand. They're doing a little street. They said the street sweepers for the first time like in 3 years are in operation. And there you can see it. I think the queue line runs till midnight, so that might have been the last car. So Jim and I are going to do a little more walking to get back to the car, but no problem. Boy, that thing's kicking up like little mini tornadoes. But yeah, beautiful building here. And I'm sure it's, maybe at one time it was a house. So it's been retrofitted. Here, London Luggage, and I love their logo. And so this is well done here. Kind of getting dark now, so you can't see all the detail, but yeah, another historic church, and the top lit up like that. When they widened Woodward, I think they had some of the churches had to move some things around. So, but yeah, here the queue line is running, has its own path. Now, again, wow, I've shown this mural a few times. And more housing. Some of these buildings were abandoned. This one here was abandoned, now refurbished, probably now leasing. So there you have it. Contact Cass Avenue at AOL.com. Star of Woodward. You can still get your liquor and so forth, which is cool. The showtime again. So yeah, I'm back to where look at this. Nothing stops Detroit. And here, wildlife. Bunny Rabbit. They had special promotions for this whole thing along the whole stretch. This sign's getting a little old and dated, but it's tilting, a little lean factor. Here we go again. Knowledge is power. I use that quote on my website. It's such a truism. How can you argue that point? But there it is, right here on Woodward Avenue, on the library and our Institute of Arts. Detroit has a very nice cultural center. It always seems impossible until it is done. So kind of like if you can imagine or you can visualize it and stuff, you start working that direction, yeah, it can get done. We were back in the 60s. John F. Kennedy said, he wanted us to go to the moon. Not because it was easy, but because it was hard. That's not exactly the way it was said, but you get the idea. Yeah, Detroit can get rebuilt. We can make Detroit great again. All right, well, you could play chess there. And earlier they had a musical event. I saw a little bit, actually, when we were up on the queue line heading north. But they had some entertainment, maybe some dancing and the like. Here, Pewabic tile in this building is well done. I should be on the other side of the street to get a good picture. And then the sheriff headquarters, I think this took over, if I'm not mistaken, the 12th precinct. But now Wayne County is here. They've had quite a few shows at this Museum of Contemporary Art. And then the Whitney, this is kind of has its claim to fame as this ghost bar. And it's a great building just to walk through, even if you just don't want to splurge on a meal. They do have good food here, but just go up to the ghost bar and have a drink. That so many consider a lost cause. Well, Detroit may have been considered for a spell there a lost cause, but not that. It's not that case anymore. That mindset has changed. So, being joked about, every now and then you still have the media. There was a crazy one the other day where they were making fun of Detroit. But people in the know better. Detroit has its own distinct kind of vibe, energy. We're a trendsetter in that regard. We're not like following anyone else. We have our own mindset. We can think for ourselves. Here, now they have a nice patio. We're going to check that out. But artwork with symbols. They redid this whole kind of stage area here. It's quite the complex. If you're into the music thing, certainly. Now, this place, I'm not sure. Strathmore, doesn't look like there's enough lights on there to indicate that it's open, but they're doing work on it, and it's supposed to be housing units. And the medical center, quite the collaboration of hospitals. And that's here to the left. They're all kind of like interconnected. But here, the nice patio. And they call it the alley deck. Garden Theater, that's nice inside. Noel night's a fun night, actually. And that's it, like the first Saturday or something in December. And at that time, you can walk through this whole Midtown area and just go into a lot of buildings and just do a little exploring. It's a great event. But that's the first time I had seen the Garden Theater, and they had a nice performance in there, and that was resurrected. Look at this. Coming soon, new luxury apartments and retail. Yeah. But that's been there kind of for a while. So we'll see. I think things will start happening at a quicker pace now. This recently finished or not, and they got some work yet to do on that. But
1889.
look at this, 1889. So this has a little history. The Sacred Bible, maybe in Latin. And then don't the U.S. Marines use that slogan there? Okay, 1935. All right. So back to where once we started. And that's that. That concludes the show.